Breaking news from the Tidal Basin. DC's iconic cherry blossoms are a big step closer now to peak bloom. We got a live shot for you here of our blossom cam at the Tidal Basin. They have swallowed their little blue pills. The National Park Service announced the blossoms are now at stage 4 peduncle elongation. Stage 4 can last anywhere from 2 days to a week, depending on how warm the weather is. The blossoms entered stage 3 this year on March 8th.
We have been waiting for this. Now, last year, stage 4 started on March 11th. The cherry blossoms still have a week or so before they reach peak bloom. Next stage is puffy blossom and then finally peak bloom. So peak bloom is defined as the day when 70% of the Yoshino cherry blossoms are open. Well, this year's peak bloom is predicted sometime between March 23rd and March 26th.
However, those dates are loose because it's been warm and it will continue to be warm. So before you make your plans, scan this QR code on your screen to check out our complete cherry blossom guide. You can find it right now at WUSA9.com and on our WUSA9 app. Caitlin's here with us now. Do we think that those dates are going to shift earlier, the peak?
I really do. In fact, I was just texting with Mike Litters from the National Park Service because I had to ask him, like, is this another record? Is this another record, progression that we've seen with the cherry blossoms? And he said he's just crunching the numbers now. He just found out when we did as well, just about 15 minutes ago at this point. So he's going to look into that. I'll report back if it is any kind of record, but I just have to believe that we're going to see peak bloom here pretty shortly.
Well, it's so interesting. I was talking, my family's coming in this weekend and I said, hey, I think you're going to hit the peak bloom here. And this can really affect travel plans for a lot of people, either for the best or for the worst. So we're continuing to watch it really closely.
Like we always say, it's not dissimilar from forecasting for the weather. There's a lot that goes into an accurate forecast and a lot of tiny little variables that can change. So they're being flexible. Of course, everyone making their plans around when to get down to the tidal basin, but I really do think the sooner the better.
And this warm stretch that we're going to have is going to just send them into hyperdrive.
This is certainly helping. Usually just like one day of 70s in March can do a lot, and here we are with multiple days in the 70s. Now, last year we saw peak bloom on March 23rd, and that's when the National Park Service is predicting once again peak bloom this year between the 23rd and 26th. But like we've been saying all along, we really think we're going to get to that peak bloom earlier than that. And we could be pressed to come close to the earliest peak ever. That was March 15th back in 1990. Now, that would be this Friday. So again, it will be a close call, but needless to say, we are well above average. Average peak bloom is April 4th. Latest we've ever seen peak bloom is April 18th.